Hey everyone, today we are going to dive into something really cool, a kind of puzzle. How do you say the exact same thing in a bunch of completely different ways? Now, this isn't just a party trick, you know? Getting good at this is the key to making your writing and speaking way more dynamic, more precise, and honestly, just a lot more powerful.
So just think about this for a second. He is always on time, and he is never late. On the surface, they look like total opposites, right? One's got always, the other's got never. But are they delivering the same exact message? Yep, they absolutely are. And figuring out how that works is the whole secret to what we're talking about today.
So here's our game plan. We're going to unlock 6 keys to help you master this art. We'll start with the basic idea, then learn a really fundamental rule, move on to swapping specific words, and then we'll get into some pretty advanced stuff, like changing the whole structure of a sentence. And at the very end, we'll cover the one golden rule that holds it all together.
Okay, let's jump right in. The whole game here, the entire point, is to change the shape of a sentence, its structure, without messing with its soul, its core meaning. It's kind of like you're a linguistic architect, rebuilding a sentence with a new blueprint, but keeping all the furniture and the feeling inside exactly the same.
So this is the official definition. It's all about changing a sentence's form, its structure, without changing what it actually means. This is our foundation for everything else. Whether we're flipping a positive sentence to a negative one or totally rearranging it, the message has to stay the same. Period. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. On the left, you see she is sad. Now, the feeling is negative, for sure, but grammatically, it's a positive statement. There's no not or never in there. To make it structurally negative, we have to transform it into she is not happy. See, now it has the word not. The meaning is identical, but the structure has completely flipped. This difference between the feeling and the actual grammar is a super important idea to get.
All right, let's unlock our first real tool. This one is like the master key for sentence transformation. It's the one you're going to use all the time. I like to call it the antonym plus not rule, and it is beautifully simple. It's really just a simple two-step dance. First, you find the main descriptive word, the adjective, something like wise. Second, you swap it for its total opposite, its antonym, in this case, foolish, and then you just stick not in front of it. So wise becomes not foolish. Easy, right?
And here it is in action. It's brilliant. Before, she is innocent. The key word is innocent. The antonym is guilty. So we swap it and add not to get she is not guilty. Notice how we didn't just say she is guilty. That would completely flip the meaning. By adding not with the opposite word, we change the structure but perfectly preserve the original idea.
Okay, let's move on to our next set of keys. These are a little more specialized. They only work when sentences have certain trigger words. Think of them like having a special tool for a very specific kind of lock.
So our first specialized key is for the word always. Whenever you see always in a sentence, the formula is super straightforward. You swap it out for never, and then you have to flip the main action word to its opposite. And just look at this example. It's powerful. I shall always remember you. So always becomes never, and the opposite of remember is forget. The result? I shall never forget you. The meaning, the promise, is exactly the same. But you could argue the second version feels even stronger, doesn't it?
Okay, this next rule is for those big universal words like everybody or every. The trick here is to swap them for a universal negative, like nobody or no. And you guessed it, you've got to flip the main verb to its opposite, just like before.
So check this out. Everybody will admit it. Everybody becomes nobody. And what's the opposite of admitting something? Well, it's denying it. So you get nobody will deny it. The final outcome is identical. Everyone agrees. We've just said it by pointing out that there is zero disagreement, which can actually be a really persuasive way to put things.
All right, so we've been swapping out single words. Now it's time for some more advanced stuff. Here, we're not just trading words. We're basically changing the entire architectural blueprint of the sentence. This is where you can really start showing off your command of the language.
Take a look at this sentence. You've probably heard it a million times. The news is too good to be true. That to phrasing is a classic signal. It's a sign that a big structural shift is possible. It hints at a negative result, but it's wrapped up in a positive-sounding structure.
And here's the transformation. That to structure just elegantly unfolds into so that cannot. The news is so good that it cannot be true. You see what happened? We took that implied negative idea and made it totally explicit, changing the whole frame of the sentence while keeping the meaning perfectly intact.
Here's another really cool swap. When you see words that single someone out, like only or alone, you can transform the sentence by starting it with none but. So a sentence like, only Ram can do it, becomes none but Ram can do it. It's the same idea, but it highlights the exclusivity by focusing on who can't do it. All right, let's move on to our final challenge. This is where it all kind of comes together. This is often seen as the trickiest part of transformation, changing the degrees of comparison. But if you can master this, you can talk about the same fact from all these different angles, which is a huge advantage in pretty much any situation.
First, just a super quick refresher so we're all on the same page. Adjectives have 3 degrees. You've got the positive degree, like great, which just describes something. Then there's the comparative, greater, which compares 2 things. And finally, the superlative, greatest, which says something is at the very top of a group. Our goal is to say the same thing using all 3.
Now this table just lays it all out perfectly. Let's start with the superlative. Ashoka was the greatest ruler. Simple enough. To change it to comparative, we use a little formula. Ashoka was greater than any other ruler. And to make it positive, we flip the whole thing on its head and say no other ruler was as great as Ashoka. 3 totally different sentences, 1 single fact. Ashoka was number 1.
And this is a big but. Watch out for this special rule. If the sentence says someone is one of the greatest, that changes the whole game. It means they're in the top tier, but maybe not the single best. In that case, for the comparative, you have to use most other, and for the positive, you use very few. It's a small change in words, but it requires a totally different formula.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, and we've unlocked a whole bunch of keys. But every single one of these techniques, all these rules and swaps, are governed by one single unbreakable principle. This is it, the golden rule. Here it is. Change the form, change the structure, change the words. Do whatever you need to do, but you can never change the meaning. The core message has to stay the same. That's the ultimate test. If the meaning changes, the transformation has failed.
So, now it's over to you. The next time you're writing an email, or a report, or even just trying to make a point in a conversation, ask yourself, how many other ways can I say this? With these keys, you've now got the tools to unlock a much more flexible, nuanced, and powerful way of communicating. So, which sentences are you going to transform first?